morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Tried to do a load of laundry before I got in. Flood. So things happen. All right, so here we are. And we're in redevelopment and deep breathing. Exercise. Okay. The Redevelopment Agency meeting of June 1, 2022 is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. Okay. These proceedings are being video recorded as well as presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2. You may also watch this meeting live on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and the Go Vegas app. The Redevelopment Agency meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, may be viewed on the internet at www.kclv.tv/live. These proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., also on Friday 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 5 p.m. This building is protected by state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler systems. If alarms should activate during today's meeting, please evacuate using the exit at the back of the chambers, go out to the mezzanine, proceed out the double doors to the terrace, and go down the back staircase. For anyone who has difficulty with stairs, please check with a marshal or fire official for assistance. Once outside, assemble on the northeast corner across the street from City Hall at Lewis and First Streets. Employees wearing safety vests or city marshals will inform you when it's safe to re-enter the building. For public comment related to items on the agenda, citizen participation and public hearing items, we have available a speaker card which you may complete and submit to the city clerk up front. Cards are available in the clerk's office or at the rear of these chambers. If you do not submit a card, it does not prevent you from speaking under public comment, citizen participation, or specified public hearing items. If anyone's present today who has need for hearing impaired equipment, please see our city clerk staff up front. And if you parked in the parking garage across the street, a self-validation machine is located in the foyer between council chambers and the security desk you walk through to enter these chambers. You must have your ticket with you to use the machine, but if you do not, please see security personnel when exiting for a validation coupon. We will move on to agenda item 3. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the matters on the agenda for action. The amount of time any single speaker's allowed may be limited. All comments will be cross-referenced to those specific items. If anyone submitted a speaker card who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please come to the podium. State your name for the record. We'll set the time at 1 minute.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and distinguished council. I'm Catherine Duncan. I'm here to speak on agenda item number 5. I was very, very disturbed when I saw in the development agreement that the employment plan requirement had been stricken from the agreement. As you know, the history of this agency with the West Side has been less than satisfactory. So we're looking for ways to assist this agency in achieving its historical goals, which later became requirements. We started out with a 51% goal for the employment plan. We weren't able to meet the 51% goal, so we changed it to a 15% requirement, which I understand has now turned into a stated goal as well. So with that, the employment rates on the historic West Side have not been impacted by the amount of funds that we put into this agency. So we're looking for ways to correct that, and we believe we have some solutions for you today. So we have some distinguished guests with us this morning, so I'll sit down and let them speak with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Good to see you. Anyone else, please come forward, state your name for the record.
Madam Mayor, welcome. I hope I'm welcome back. I'm Arnold Gordon Bray, General Retired. Have been working with, as a consultant to the West Side and the Harrison House team as we go forward. Specifically, I'm here to talk about the value of what's called the Virtual Community Action Planning, or VCAP. And it addresses one of the longer-term concerns of being able to have qualified people in the area to address the 15% as well as the 51%. And specifically, I'll make it brief. VCAP looks at trying to establish training, skills, knowledge, and abilities for people 14 to 24-year-olds, giving them the capability to, one, look deep, become qualified, and more importantly, address the idea that says, what should our area look like with an understanding of environmental concerns and existing demands of constraints and restraints that the city has. It's not a today fix, it's a longer term.
Okay, well, what I'm going to suggest, if you're able to stay for the agenda item, that you will come up and speak again.
I will, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, sir. Wow.
Good morning, Madam Mayor. I'm Forest Master Chief Penton, P-E-N-T-O-N, and I'm going to be working with the Harrison House on different issues, and I'm just looking at the board, and I mean, what a day for a sailor to be here. You got a councilman named Seaman, so it was only fitting that I come here today, a sailor. I used to be a seaman way back in the day. But anyway, I'm going to be partnering with Harrison House to do some veteran issues so we can get some money to do some things. We're going to bring a lot of good things to veterans. Veterans got some serious issues that need to be addressed at the local level. Because if we wait on the national to take care of it, they'll be dead. So I'm trying to partner with them, but they don't have the money to do that, so we can do anything to help us. It'd be greatly appreciated. I already know that Councilman Seaman is on board because she's, you know, she got the name for it. Thank you.
Thank you for coming down. Anyone else, please come forward, state your name for the record. Okay, I will close public comment, and we'll move on to agenda item 4. For possible action to approve the final minutes by reference to the regular redevelopment meeting of April 6, 2022. Mayor Pro Tem, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you. There's a motion. Please vote. And please post. And that motion carries. Thank you. And we'll move on to agenda item 5. Discussion for possible action regarding a First Amendment to Disposition and Development Agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency, the RDA, and Community Development Program Center of Nevada, Inc., developer, for a portion of the property located 1501 North Decatur, amending the purchase price to $2,380,000 redevelopment area in Ward 5 with Councilman Creer. So, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of Council. Ryan Smith, Director of Economic and Urban Development for the record. Today we're bringing forward an amendment to the DDA between the RDA and Community Development Program Center of Nevada for the 5.47 acres located at 1501 North Decatur. This amends the purchase price in the DDA from $1 to the fair market value of $2.38 million. Nothing else will change within the scope of the DDA in terms of the use of the property. The developer requested the change to pay fair market value due to the prevailing wage requirements of NRS 279 and the costs associated with that. As a refresher, I'm going to outline some of the information, and then we'd be happy to answer any other questions about the project. Just as a refresher, we issued the RFP in February of 2016. The project will consist of 2 phases and will close in July. The first phase will be 40 units and will start construction in August, which will last roughly 18 months. Phase 2 will be the next 104 units of affordable housing and last again roughly 18 months. We're also hoping this may turn into a larger project, as the adjacent property owner has been in some discussions about potentially partnering on this project. And so with that, I'd like to answer any other questions unless Deputy Director Arndt has some comments.
Good morning. For the record, Bill Arntz, Deputy Director, Economic and Urban Development. Ryan asked me to just come up to the podium just in case there are any questions concerning the Redevelopment Agency's employment plan policy as it stands today, and also how it might be related to this project. As a reminder, the City Council and the Redevelopment Agency Board of Directors did approve a contract with MYS LLC to assist us with updating our current employment plan policy. There are new best practices, and there are some new requirements that the legislature imposed in the last session. So we are working to update our employment plan policy, which was approved by the City Council back in June of 2014. With that, I'd be glad to answer any questions that may arise.
Thank you, Mr. Arndt. Morning.
We also, sorry, this is Ryan Smith again for the record. We also have Mrs. Sharon Bullock here with us today representing the developer on the property.
Wonderful, and if you, morning, just about to ask for a motion. However, you've been saved, and now it's your turn. Make sure your microphone's on.
Is it on?
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Sharon Bullock from Community Development Program Center of Nevada. As the gentleman stated, we have been working on this project for some years for some much-needed affordable housing. The first phase will be 40 units of 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, and then the second phase will be 104 units. Wow. And then we are also in discussion with the old Mariana site, has just recently been purchased to develop the whole thing. We went back and forth. When the DDA agreement came out, it stated that it needed to be prevailing wage. And the employment plan. The prevailing wage that was put onto this was a commercial prevailing wage. When I spoke to the Labor Commission, it raised the budget by about 40%. And you know, with our continuing increases in construction costs, it made it absolutely impossible to pencil. So we came forth and said, we really want to create this development, so we'll buy the land instead of having a DDA or having the issues. Now, we have received home funds. We've received low-income housing tax credits on this development. So with the home funds from Clark County and the City of Las Vegas, we still have the Section 3 employment requirements. We still have all of those things in through the home fund agreements. And we all know CDPCN is the executive director is Frank Hawkins. And I don't think that anybody could dispute that Frank Hawkins has done more for the historic West Side on building. And we require in our contracts with our subcontractors that they go out and they hire at least one person from the 89106 area code on every single, every contractor that we have on site. So that would at least give you 35 employees that would be able to come in, be trained, and get jobs. And we have done that with every project we've ever done, and we've got several, multiple people that have gone on and stayed with that contractor and learned the trade. So
Thank you.
that,
And what's the additional cost to the original price?
Well, Ryan Smith for the record, Madam Mayor, the original terms of the DDA were actually selling the property for $1, essentially giving the property to the developer for affordable housing. And now we're changing it to fair market value, which we run an appraisal for, which turned out to be $2.38 million.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Fiore, please.
Thank you. So Frank Hawkins is fabulous, so I'm glad that he's on the project. However, I know, Mr. Cervantes, we just hired a consultant to make sure with our West Side we get folks that live there working there. And then with the contract with the 15% and with the labor shortage. So it's like a double-edged sword, right? So yes, we want to make sure, as Ms. Duncan stated, we hire the folks that live there to work there. However, with the labor shortage, if we don't have the folks apply to actually work on the project, then how do we make sure that it's whole and make it work for?
Yeah, for the record, Jorge Cervantes, City Manager. So, as was mentioned earlier, the 15% is an aspirational goal, and certainly all the contractors try their hardest to do that or beat it. I have seen some projects in the valley where they've actually, some contractors have been able to go beyond what the aspirational goal is, but certainly the efforts there to reach into the community and hire those folks to be part of the project. And it'll be overseen by our EUG group to make sure that the effort's there to try to do that and provide whatever training we need to.
Thank you, Mr. Cervantes. Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilwoman, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So, Mr. Arndt and Mr. Smith, I just want to be clear, the only difference between these different agreements, we approved the other one last time, is just now we're basically substituting the amount for the land. Is that accurate? Everything else in the agreement stays the same?
For Ryan Smith, for the record, that is correct. We're changing the purchase price to fair market value. And the concern of Ms. Duncan was that through our contract, when a developer pays fair market value for the property, it no longer requires the employment plan. Ms. Bullock stated that she's using federal money as well, which require its own employment plan, and that's where she spoke to, hiring from A9106, make sure every contractor, subcontractor does that. So that will still be in place, but those are the changes within this amendment of the DDA.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else comments before I turn this over to Councilman Creer, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, the concern of the employment, I mean, if you're going to look at a contractor that understands this, Frank would be the person that would, understands this. He's been dealing with and has hired a number of people from our community, given a lot of people first chances, second chances, third chances in order to provide them with work. And I know I've had conversations with him personally about it, and he's dedicated and committed to doing everything he can to ensure that people from our community are working, right? And so I don't have a concern with this, especially since we're dealing with this particular contractor who has a long history of this. And look, this development precedes me being on council, way precedes me, and precedes probably just about everybody, maybe except for the mayor and Mayor Pro Tem on this project. I want to get something built. I want to get something nice, of quality, that is there. We've gone through, even in my 4 years here, we've gone through a lot of twists and turns in trying to get this property developed. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing shovels in the ground and getting this project going. So I am in full support of the amended to the agreement. And if there's no other conversations, I'm going to make a motion for approval.
Thank you very much. There's a motion to approve on the morning RDA agenda 5. Please vote and please post. And we're excited, and hopefully you'll get back to us, let us know how it's going. We'd be very anxious to learn how the employment piece is going.
We are very passionate about that, and any help that y'all could give us with plans have been in the building department now since before December. We're ready to go.
Great.
So
good luck.
Just looking for
Good
help
way
on
to
the
begin the
improvements.
month.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll move on to agenda item 6. This is our second citizen participation. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the redevelopment agency. No subject may be acted upon by the redevelopment agency unless this subject is on the agenda and scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come to the podium, give your name for the record, the amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed may be limited. Is there anyone who wishes to speak under this portion of the agenda, please?
Well, thank you again, Madam Mayor. Catherine Duncan for the record. I'm very pleased that it is Frank Hawkins who's developing this project. But we are still concerned with how we categorize minorities, because any minority hired will satisfy the employment plan policy. But we're specifically concerned about the descendants of American slaves, the blacks who live on the west side and in the redevelopment area. Their employment plan numbers are mixed in with all the other minorities, which include veterans, a lot of other people are in the minority category. So we've asked that the categories be broken down so we can also get to the targets that we need to get to. So if we could just consider the African-American population who are historically West Side residents and not mix them in with the Hispanic population, which is fastly growing, so you can achieve the employment plan goals with the numbers with one particular population and still exclude the other populations. So we'd like to have the agency be sensitive to the racial mix-up of the people who are in the minority community. So, thank you.
Anyone else who cares to speak in this second public participation? Okay, thank you very much. Hearing none, this redevelopment agency is adjourned, and we'll start our meeting at 9 a.m., which gives us 6 whole minutes.
There you go.
Good.